take the first step. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Take the first step. A lot of times, the reason why things don't get started is because
you
you
don't
never
start.
take the first step and start.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to episode 2. If you don't know already, this page is all about success. Just want to provide motivation and knowledge so that we can all become successful. And today I got a very special guest, entrepreneur, a politician, a mother, a wife, Tatianna Ammons. Hey, Tatianna. You can go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, yes, he gave some of my titles, except for one. I'm also representing the state of Illinois as Miss Illinois Petite. I'm going against all 50 states and nationals, but as he said, I am a public official. I am the county board representative of District 11. I'm a precinct committee woman. I teach traditional West African dance, so I own Ngoma Expressions. I am a mom of 2 and a wife, as he said, so I wear many, 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 many hats, as well as battling multiple sclerosis. And I'm number 3 on the National MS Society for donors, and I'm a Walk MS captain. So, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is.
So like with everything that so lately I know it's been a busy month, busy year for you. So like what exactly have you been doing?
Well, I was just running for Urbana City Clerk. That just ended as of 2 days ago. I did not win the race, unfortunately, but I did learn a lot. But before then, of course, out of all the things that I've been doing in this past year, doing a lot of protests after the George Floyd um, sad loss of life. This summer there was a big uprising, and it was an honor to be able to be a part of, lead, be on the side of a lot of other great people. An organization that I work with, HV Neighborhood Transformation. I am their programs director, and they deal with gun violence in High Hope areas. And we just got, a major thing that's coming through, and we're going to be opening up our office. And so we have a lot of programs that are dealing with gun violence and education and economic stability in the black community, black and brown community. Ultimately, we want to get ourselves better situated. And so I was just honored to be able to come here to Black and Brown Success, because success means different things to different people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so like with everything you you got a lot on your schedule every day, I'm pretty sure. So with everything that you got going on, like what drives you to keep like to every morning to just wake up and go get it, you know?
What drives me, of course, for one, is my family for sure. But when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, July 11th in 2019.
For instance, can you explain what that is?
So multiple sclerosis is a neurological autoimmune disease. It attacks your nervous system. It starts in your command system, and when I say command system, that's your brain. We get lesions on our brain, and it takes away. It's on the myelin coating. So what that means is that usually, if you get a little break on the myelin, that means a signal can't be sent somewhere.
Yeah.
So at any time, anything could happen. So for me personally, I lost my vision on
Wow.
July 11th. I was completely blind in my left eye, and I couldn't use any of the muscles in my face.
Yeah. So you couldn't smile.
I couldn't smile.
Wow.
I couldn't smile. I couldn't move my nose. This whole side of my body, it was like I was not in control. I was not in control, and it was all of a sudden. So it wasn't something that I was expecting. It wasn't anybody close to me in my family that has it.
Yeah.
And so I drove myself to the hospital, and I prayed to God that I made it there safely.
How you drop? So your left side.
My left side.
And then you was just.
I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
So it's like God knew what he was doing. And I said, God, please get me to the hospital. And I live around the corner from Carl Hospital.
Okay.
So that's even more of a blessing. And when I walked into Carl Hospital on July 11th, Instantly, it was like everything was a whirlwind. They knew something major was wrong. They thought I had a stroke.
Yeah.
And then it was like, does she have Lyme disease? They're like, that's not it. And it was like, okay, I think she has MS. And so they took my spinal fluid, and I had scans of my brain, all kinds of things. And my family, they're the best part. They keep me going. They rushed there. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. Every time I tell this story, because it was life altering.
Yeah.
It was life altering, literally. Before now, I'm state certified by the American Association for Pathology as a phlebotomist. And so a lot of people know me in the community for working at the Plasma Center, and I worked at Carl Hospital prior to that for 5 years. So I had my CNA license, phlebotomy license, so I was serving the community in that capacity in the medical field, and I loved doing it. I showed up to work every day for my donors. They were the best part of my job. And so to not be able to use my hands and not be able to see and instantly have to stop working at 29 years old, I could never have imagined that would be my experience.
And how long were you unable to work for?
So actually, I've been out of work for a year. I was out of work for a year because they have to figure out. So I spent 30 days in the hospital first. I couldn't walk, didn't have my balance.
Wow.
No taste buds. Like I said, I had to wait for my vision to come back. I was in therapy. Then I got home and I couldn't drive.
All good now, or has it been?
I have I have permanent optic neuritis damage on the left side. So a lot of times you'll see me turn so I can completely see what is going on, but I can see on my right side.
Okay.
So so for the most part, I can see, but permanently over here is gone.
Wow.
Throughout this campaign for me, I tell people a lot of time, life for me is real. It should be real for everybody.
Yeah.
But it changed for me in the way that tomorrow my hands could just never work again, or my feet could not work again.
And these are things that we don't appreciate.
We don't appreciate.
Like really for
we
real.
don't appreciate, and we say, "Oh, I got time to do this."
Yeah.
But it was like on July 11th, it was like the Creator was like, "No, you don't have time for that." And so I'm a student here at Parkland, and I graduate this May, and being a student is hard. So I'm a mom, I'm a student, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm like, and now I got MS.
Yeah.
What is going on? But it was fuel to my fire. I don't look at it as a hindrance. So sometimes to hear people say like, "Oh my God, I can't believe she uses that." I don't use that. This is, for me, it's a blessing. It's a story to tell. There's so many people suffering. I wake up, and some days I can't feel my feet. And I'm like, okay, God, get me up. I need to go. Because it's hard at 31. I'm still young at 31 to say, oh, my knees are hurting, my hands are hurting. I can't see right now, or I'm so fatigued. The number one thing with people with MS is that we have fatigue that it's hard to describe.
Yeah. Or
this campaign caused me to have contractures that I never experienced. But I believed so much in my platform. I knew it was necessary for me to do whatever I had to do.
Yeah.
I knew what I was up against. I was up against 25 years.
Yeah.
I felt that the city of Urbana deserved better, that we could be better.
Yeah.
That even if I didn't win, that people who didn't vote for the president were going to vote for me. And that was enough, that I increased voter awareness.
So when did you decide to run for Urbana City Clerk?
When I found out that it was open.
Yeah.
When I found that it was open, I was like, okay, there was someone else that, that the party or the people were talking to who could do the job. And I also was like, this person would be great for the job.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she didn't live in the area. She couldn't do it. So it was like, okay, then I'm next. I'm next. So, I had the opportunity to talk to the previous clerk, and, I wish things had been different. And, she won. I congratulate her for winning. And, it was a very tough race, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot. And I appreciate the journey. It only makes me stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
With being a county board member, now I'm like, okay, I learned some stuff over here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
watch me work over here.
See, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, watch me work over here. Like, all of my skill sets, I get to bring them to the table.
Yeah.
And this is only the beginning. And all of the people around me, or even the people in the community that has been giving me the love and have watched me grow up here,
Yeah.
they help me know that I can do this. And this is not the end.
Yeah, that's good. Like, some people will see that as a loss, but really it's not a loss because there's so much that you have gained from this journey that you took, from starting from the decision of running to when you found out the election results. I'm pretty sure there's, God, not to get spiritual, but God don't do nothing on accident,
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this is just to elevate you to higher places that you never even thought of, So yeah, that's great to hear, for real. And with that being said, so I'm sure you have a lot of goals, right? What do you think the importance of goal setting is?
Goal setting, I think it helps you stay focused.
Yeah.
It gives you time to reflect. You can I always recommend making short-term goals and long-term goals, to really see, like, okay, what's the reality? What can I really do? Before I do anything, I always talk to my people that's around me.
Yeah.
Because even though you're the one to do it, you need help. You need help.
Yeah.
And in running any campaign, you need a team. Being a business owner, you need a team.
Yeah.
Even though you have the vision, you need a team to help you carry it out.
Definitely.
And like we always know, there's no I in team.
Yeah.
There's no I in team. And so I believe that wholeheartedly. In every job that I've ever worked, I've been a manager.
Yeah.
I've been a trainer. I've been the boss.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you've got to experience every single piece.
I've got to
they all got to
experience-
play their role.
absolutely. And you can't just go to the top.
Yeah.
You do have to start at the bottom. You do have to somewhat pay your dues. I know that we hate that statement, but it's like, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. And my parents, my grandparents, they all mentor me in so many ways and tell me to keep my faith and pray and stay steadfast and educate yourself.
Yeah,
Education is not just college. It's not
Thank
just
you.
book smarts.
Thank
Okay?
you.
A lot of people are like, oh, get that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Educate yourself, but know what education is.
Mm.
It is not just, it's not just the books. It's not just what Western civilization has fed us.
Yeah.
Educate yourself daily. Life is education because we are scientists. We're scientists.
Yeah.
Life is science, and we're living it. We're breathing it. And so if we take out the selfish part of it, then we can all open ourselves up. I just told somebody, I said, vulnerability is a love language.
Mm.
And I'm learning that it's okay to be that way, and I'm naturally that way.
Yeah, that's crazy because I'm the opposite. I'm not vulnerable at all, honestly. Yeah, that's something I need to work on. I know.
Some people will use it and to diminish.
Yeah.
And I learned that right after this election, that we call it Facebook, but it's an opinion book.
Yeah.
It's an opinion book,
Yeah.
and people use it to spew hate and bullying and to diminish people. And it's sickening.
Yeah.
And it's sad. And even our elders have gotten in on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, is this where we've gotten?
How do you deal with that, all the hate and negativity, especially being a politician? I know you.
I'm a quote one of my favorite artists, okay,
Yeah.
which is Lauryn Hill. And she says, to survive is to stay alive in the face of opposition.
Mm.
Even when they come in gunning, I stay in position. L knowing the mission since conception. Y'all know that? If you don't know that line, that is in the song Forgive Them, Father.
Yeah.
Forgive Them, Father is one of my favorite, and I got to see her in concert.
Yeah.
And there was a moment in the concert, it was like you could hear a pin drop. and everybody was recording her, and she had the images from, I want to say, slavery all the way up into when George Floyd's situation.
Oh, this was recently?
This was the 20-year anniversary. I
Okay.
took my mom to this concert because my mom introduced me to Lauryn Hill when I was 5 years old. And to this day, as we all know, I mean, this is probably one of the best records of all time, but she's been educating us for a long time, but we're not listening. We're not listening. So on the way here, because I've been struggling for the past 2 days after this election, I'm like, man, none of these people know me.
Yeah.
And they got the most to say. But as all people know who are on the rise to be successful, you're gonna have haters.
All of them. A lot of them.
Jesus had haters.
Yeah.
Right?
Michael Jordan got haters. LeBron got
They
haters.
got, and they, right? And they do so many great things.
Yeah.
I watch my parents, they do so many great things. And people attack them. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. And a lot of times it's our own that do that. But with no real education as to what they do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, opinions are baseless. They're baseless.
Yeah.
And so I'm really learning constantly not to internalize that. And so if that's the one thing I could really tell other people,
Yeah.
don't internalize it. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
Don't internalize it.
Cause yeah, like I've seen some of the hate comments that you've shared and stuff, and it's crazy. But I always like we were talking before. I always like how you respond with positive energy, and that you try and not stoop to that level. And where does that come from? Like, how is that? It's from your parents, or that's just how?
It's definitely from my parents.
Yeah.
My grandma, my grandma Valerie Ammons, and my grandma Ruby. I want to say in this whole campaign, I called them a lot. I'm like, pray with me, pray for me.
Yeah.
Pray with me, pray for me. I went to church in this campaign with my Congolese community.
Okay.
And it was the best experience I've had. To be in a place where they're not even speaking English, but I could feel God there. I could feel him. Yeah. And to have a group of people who never met me a day in their life, they don't know anything about me, they don't know about my parents, they don't know about politics, and they said, I love you. So I knew I would be okay. So remembering those things, when I see other people say certain things, and these are people that I know, that I grew up with, and I'm like, wow, I'm appalled. I can't believe we're here. And it's like, okay, maybe I am doing something right. You know, God has to work on us all and put us through experiences. He needed to give me a story to tell, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say, let me go pick something out. No. I got MS. I got to deal with it. This is my story.
Yeah.
I get to own it, and I get to tell it. I get to do with it what I want to do with it. I get to be a beauty queen because God made me beautiful.
Yeah.
I get to be a business owner because I work at it every day. African dance chose me when I was 5 years old, and I've been doing it the whole time. Not nobody else. So it's like, who gets to decide for me what it is that I'm going to do?
Yeah.
And most of the people who have all of these opinions aren't doing anything. So
that's so crazy.
They're not doing anything.
So
you notice that?
crazy,
Most of the people that are successful, if we spend our time giving the people who aren't doing anything a platform, then I waste my time and I won't be successful, and I diminish my thing. And the point is to be successful.
What's the craziest thing, like the craziest thing that you ever heard, like, that you mean, like they really said that about me? Like, has there anything that come to mind with that? Like a rumor that's like so outlandish that it's like, how do people even think of stuff like that? Like, I know one time I was seeing an interview about Jay-Z, and he was talking about how they were saying that Beyonce didn't have a baby. And he's like, what? Like, people believe that? Like, you feel me?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, just it's been more so as of recently, obviously from campaigning, and just it's more so the attacks on my character.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, oh, fellas could sue you, and I'm like, she's a public official. This is public record, and if you FOIA the city of Urbana, you'd find out what I'm saying is factual.
Yeah.
But people don't do their homework.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
You want to just attack me for the other person,
Mm-hmm.
and so it comes with the territory, and I'm learning that you're gonna have love and you're gonna have hate at the same time on the rise. And so after this experience, I know to continue to pray every day, because that's what I did in this campaign. And that's what kept me going. When it was cold outside and I shouldn't have been outside because I have an MS, but I was outside, I prayed every day. I prayed several times a day, throughout the day. We're imperfect. We're imperfect. And I know that those people are illogical. And they're suffering. Yeah. And they need something to talk about. Right? All I can do is continue to work.
And just keep going.
And keep going. Because I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm like, my next thing is, right, to make some improvements in the district that I represent as a county board member. And to go win my crown at Nationals. March 24th, we sign in. And hopefully on March 28th,
definitely,
I'm the crown winner.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna talk about that, but before that, I just want to applaud you for even being a politician, because I feel like in this day and time, we always be like, oh man, make sure y'all go and vote, but I feel like the narrative needs to switch a little bit to, hey, you can become somebody that we're voting for. You
Absolutely.
know? Because it doesn't matter if we're voting, going out to vote, if we're voting for the same people, for the same policies, just overturn, and that's why I like that you are taking action. So, yeah, I gotta give you one for that.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, we are the next generation, right? And no matter what I do, one day I'm going to be an elder.
Yeah.
It ain't like we get no younger, right? Every year we get older. And so I want to be someone that my daughter and her friends, they look up to, and they can ask me, or I can put them in position to be in the same place or somewhere else. That's always the goal. That's African tradition. Yeah. If we were doing what we were supposed to do, none of this would have turned out the way that it did. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. And God has the last say ultimately. So I thank you for recognizing that. I put myself out there. Yeah. I put myself out there. And other young people, I hope that they saw when I put myself out there that they can too. Yeah. We have to challenge. The norm. We just can't say, oh, I'm going to keep voting for the same thing. Yeah. Well, why? Mm-hmm. Well, why? Ask the question. Ask the why question. But what they've been doing for this whole time. Mm. Don't just do it because somebody else told you to do it. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. I didn't want people to vote for me because I was the Ammons. Yeah. Right? I wanted them to meet Tatianna. I just happened to also be an Ammons. Yeah. But I mean, the Ammons, look at our platforms. Our things speak for themselves. So that is a good reason. But meet Tatianna. Yeah.
And so what would you say to a young person watching right now who aspires to be an entrepreneur or a politician, or just, wants to be successful and chase their dreams?
Take the first step. Mm. That's the number one thing. Yeah. Take the first step. A lot of times, the reason why things don't get started is because you never take the first step and start. And so you're gonna, make some mistakes along the way, but just start somewhere, because you can do it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask for some help. Like I said, vulnerability is a love language. Being successful does sometimes involve having a team to help you get there, as long as you have the vision. And stay prayed up.
Definitely. And so, Miss Petite USA, what is that for people who don't know?
So that is a national pageant They have been established for 10 years. They are a USA brand, like Mr. Rick just said. They are a USA brand, and they started in Milwaukee. And so originally we were going to be in Chicago this year, but due to COVID, it moved back to Milwaukee. And the reason why it's a petite is for shorter women.
Yeah.
There didn't used to be a category for women that were 5'6" and under, because as you know, models or even in a pageant, they're usually wanting women that are taller, right? Giving more leg length. So 10 years ago, there was like, no, there are women who have beauty that are shorter, and let's give them a platform as well. And so I'm excited and honored to be able to be the representative for the state of Illinois in the married division, because I didn't imagine just a few years ago that I would be able to be in a pageant, okay? Pageants are expensive, that's for one. Not as many black women have been able to compete in pageants. It's just been recently, in the past few years, we have been seeing more black women in pageants. So that has been a plus. That's whether it's been Miss America, USA. That hasn't been the standard because our body type. So if you go to the history of pageants, black women wasn't considered beautiful, skin tone, and the body type and shape of black women did not fit the aesthetics of pageantry. And so for black women to be able to get into pageantry now, of course, I definitely was like, sign me up. Sign me up. And so for them to also, in this day and age, to also change the standards of where you used to not be able to have piercings. You couldn't have tattoos, right? To break that mold, I have all of those. I have all of those, okay? And I love having those. So I like to be able to remove them when I want to, right? It's all about having the choice. You have the choice. And to be able to be on display and say, I can be smart, beautiful, classy, dynamic, and have all of that at the same time, and they could see it too. It was a blessing. I said, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm a mom, and I'm a wife.
Miss Petite Illinois, right?
Yeah, I'm representing the state of Illinois, and I am, again, up against 50 states. 50 states. So I'm very excited. My platform is actually service and advocacy. I battled with that at first. I thought that my platform would be MS, but I have MS. MS doesn't have me.
That's a bomb right there.
You know, I talked throughout this campaign. I've still been working on pageant stuff, right? A friend of mine who also worked on my campaign, you know, she had made a post. She was like, sometimes Tatianna would text me at 1 o'clock in the morning on campaign stuff. I would, because multitasking. Like I said, I'm in school, I'm a mom, I was getting ready for the pageant, and I was campaigning. So my platform, I was like, no, my platform literally is service, because I lend my voice to a lot of things, because there's a lot of things near and dear to my heart. Homelessness is near and dear to my heart. Giving and donating blood is near and dear to my heart, because I have MS and I've been a phlebotomist for a long time. MS is near and dear to my heart, right? I'm a public servant. So I was like, no, service is my platform. And that's what I want to talk about.
So how does the pageant work? Is it like different stages you gotta go through, or like
There are. I'm gonna make a little joke, but you know, like Miss Congeniality, that's real. we gonna do some of that, but there are categories. So I have my state costume. That's the category that I have to compete in. We have our fun fashion category. We have to compete in. There's semifinals. There's red, white, and blue ball. We're gonna meet with the judges. There's
How
orientation.
long is this pageant? How many?
So competition. In my division, there's 4 times that I have to hit the stage, but I'm there for a week. So throughout that week, there are several different things that I'll have to do. that are on stage and off stage. So, I'll have activities with some of the other girls, and I'll be able to meet them. That's even in the teen division because there's 4 representatives. So there's the teen representative, there's the married division, and there's the Miss and Mrs. So there's 4 for every single state. So there's a lot. There's a lot of women in one place at one time. So as you can imagine, the days are going to be long, but they're going to be fun. I'm excited to meet all of the different women. They bring different things to the table. I'm excited to hear about their different platforms. We're going to meet the judges. Getting dressed up and glammed every single day. Yeah. Everybody, if you know me, I like to get dressed up. I get dressed up on a daily. That's just a part of who I am. It's, I feel like it's part of my armor each day when I get dressed. So that's a part of the pageant. When we get there, from the moment we get there, everybody's watching. Everybody's watching. You're on stage, just like being in politics. You're on stage. What are you going to talk about? What sets you apart? What is your platform? What is it that you're going to do if you win? How are you going to represent the USA brand for that year as the queen? What does it really mean to be a queen? And so that's why it's important for me how I appear to people. That's why I don't like for people to attack my character.
Yeah, I feel you.
How I respond to people, because yes, being a queen comes with a certain level, right? You gotta respond a certain way. Keep class and grace and dignity at all times. That's real. Tough. That's real. Yeah. And it's tough because I am a human being. But that's why I stay prayed up. I got to in this day and age because people get reckless.
Yeah, definitely.
They do, but I'm trying to be successful, right? And I can't let anybody deter the success movement with opinions.
with that being said, what I don't want to hold you here for too long, but what's your definition of success?
What's my definition of success?
Yeah.
I've never actually put an actual definition on success. But I want to say success is intellectual stability, economic stability, spiritual stability. I think all 3 of those things are important. And then self-love is stability, being okay with taking up space. And then as a woman, being, especially a black woman, being in control of your black girl magic. Understanding when and how to use that, when to release it, and not allowing people to absorb too much of that energy because it's draining.
Yeah.
Because it's draining. And you need it for the long haul because life is a journey and being successful is a journey.
Definitely. Well, I want to thank you for coming out on the Success Podcast. I really appreciate you, and just keep doing your thing. You've done great things, and you're doing more great things, and we're all rooting for you for Miss USA, Miss Petite USA. I want to say thank you for anybody who tuned in, and thank you for Parkman for letting me use their space. That concludes the second episode. And if you have anybody that you would like to see on the podcast, just comment below or contact me or have them contact me. And peace.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for having me on Black and Brown Success.
Yeah.
Rick Loma is going to be successful. You heard it here. This is a great podcast or YouTube. And you also definitely tune in. Thank you for Parkland for allowing us to do this. And yes, please check me out at TatiannaAmmons.com or on Instagram at only_1_Tati, and that is TATI. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm on Facebook at Tatianna Ammons. Life's a journey.
Yo,
yes, it's been a pleasure. Peace.